So, hi, and welcome to another installment of If It's in the Mind, It Can Be Managed, the Mind Management Mentors podcast. I'm your host, Cuddy Cudworth, and today's an absolute doozy of a podcast. I'm super excited about this one because this is definitely in the field of mind management, thoughts, emotions, and raising our frequency. And I'm a big believer in that. But I had to go on a journey of not understanding the thought process, not understanding the emotions and the frequency of those emotions. And when I was introduced to you a couple months ago, I was like, "Oh, that's a podcast. That right there, we're gonna have a great podcast." So stay tuned, stick around, and once again, big love from Cuddy, and welcome to the Mind Management Mentors podcast. Let's dive straight in. Introduce yourself as if you were on blind date. Tell us who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Thank you, Cuddy, for that wonderful introduction. My name is Dean Chettra. I'm based in Birmingham, father to five kids, and also a grandfather. Yes, I look good for my age. I work in the world of telecom stroke IT, but I have a guiding light that has brought me to where I am in terms of looking at the world in a natural way, being in balance with nature and connected to the source. So some exciting stuff to talk about.
Oh, we've got this is going to be a good one. I know for a fact it is, and I know we did a 5 minutes chat before the podcast, and I know that when we go on a journey, there's a reason that we've had to learn about frequency and vibrancy and the states that we get into, and we maybe don't know what it is or why we are there. And I'm interested, before we even talk about Zen Ninja and the amazing product that's going to be coming out very, very shortly, I want us to talk about your journey, Dean, from ones and zeros in a digital age to creating a less synthetic plastic world.
Mm.
So,
Well,
Dean, tell us, how did you be aware of needing to understand vibration?
well, if I put on my Uncle Albert hat on during the war, um, my career, I had aspirations to go into the world of medicine, but
Yep.
that didn't transpire. It just so happened that I happened to fall into the world of IT, and it was a natural progression. I didn't really look back or think maybe I should have. No regrets in that respects. But having worked in the very clinical world of IT and telecoms, which is, as you put it, is ones and zeros and computer coding and hardware products and software products. It's a very kind of banal world to be sort of working in, because all you're doing is trying to sort of technically enrich people's lives through technology, but you're not really truly enriching people's lives, because you and I sat at home linked through the internet, communicating great, which is, makes the world a smaller place. But without having that physical, interaction, in terms of being there, being able to see each other's mannerisms, but shake each other's hands and that lot, and maybe have a hug at the end of it. Who knows? But for me, there's been a kind of a natural draw, and there's got to be more to this than me than what I'm currently doing, and I've got a passion for cooking. So I absolutely cook a mean curry. So if you're ever down south, I'll cook you a curry rather than take you into Birmingham. But I also have a passion in terms of being naturally drawn to nature. I tend to walk barefoot wherever I can, just to ground myself.
Right.
We've got a beautiful forest near us, which gives us that kind of reconnection with Mother Nature. And just by doing those simple things, and you asked me this 15 years ago, I would have been a skeptic. I was very much into my technology, into my gadgets, and trying to sort of buy the latest gadgets to sort of be there with the cool person with the latest gadgets. But it wasn't giving you that satisfaction. And I explored other kind of areas in terms of working in the hospitality trade. I love working in pubs and running pubs and bars and that lot. Great to sort of socialize with people, but it comes with its, I suppose, negative points where you have to deal with a lot of misbehaving people towards the end of the night, trying to break up fights. Nowadays, you would not get involved. You just let people rip each other up. And the journey's kind of been a case of where I've questioned, what do I want out of life? You know, am I getting what I need out of life? And is it really what I want out of life? The pursuit of money is not relevant to me, because any material possessions now are just that. They're inanimate objects until you use them. And then when you put them away, they become inanimate and they don't bring any value to you. And I thought, what is it that I actually want to do? What can I give back to everybody that will bring us all on an even keel? And having analyzed it, we live in a plastic, synthetic, fake world. You know, we're too busy looking at our mobile phones. I see my nieces and my daughters constantly doing this every 5 seconds.
Lips, the duck lips.
The duck licks, as or the trout pout, as I call it. But you know, I've been fortunate where my daughters and my nieces have not followed suit to have the sausage lips on, you know, with Botox injected into it, which makes you look like a porn doll. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah. And realistically, it's all about, it wasn't an epiphany moment. I just started looking more and more into, having wanted to go into medicine, looking at the medical world and how it's progressing. And I don't think it's really progressing, because when you go to a doctor, you're not really treated to be made better. You're treated so that you're on a constant flow of medication that you're taking, and it's just feeding the beast. Whereas naturopathic medicine is considered to be, you know, voodoo or complete rubbish. It's dismissed by the pharmaceutical companies. And having done my research, 98% of the stuff that we buy from the chemist or prescribed doesn't do anything for us, because the body is a unique machine. It's a fantastic machine that's been designed with purpose by a greater being or what. And why would we want to destroy that perfect design by poisoning it with all the rubbish that we consume through drinks, through food, through processed food, all the junk food? I stopped eating McDonald's many years ago, KFC, Burger King. Yes, I'm partial to a dirty doner kebab after a dirty night out. I'd admit to that. But we're allowed one or two minor vices from time to time. And having seen that medication was being restrictive in terms of that you're not recovering, you're not well, I looked into alternative options. And that was, you know, one is organic food, but organic food is not necessarily organic with all the spraying that they're doing. Organic medications I eat in terms of natural medicine. So I look reference back to what my parents used to do when we were children, and our grandparents, is that they would give us castor oil, which would be an anti-parasitic treatment. Yeah. And things like giving us fresh ginger, coriander, which again, all embody healthy kind of diets as such. And looking at the Ayurvedic side of Indian medicine, as well as across into the Americas, where you've got the Red Indians, in terms of how they've got longevity as well, and how nicotine has been demonized. The true nicotine has beneficial properties for your health, whereas the nicotine that is consumed by people has had additives like tar and other chemicals. And they're trying to dismiss that, but yet they're still feeding that industry. Yeah, you buy me smoke, but by the way, it's going to give you cancer and all that kind of stuff. And having looked at the likes of Dr. Sebi and all these other wonderful natural practitioners who have been dismissed by the peer-reviewed science community, it kind of compelled me to look deeper into alternative options. And it led me into, okay, the world of frequency, vibration, resonance, magnetism, energy, all that's all combined. And the more I looked at it and applied my scientific approach to it, I thought, well, just had the pinging moment of thinking, wow, we are all beings of energy, of light, of frequency, depending on what level we're vibrating on. is what we attract. So if you're in a negative frame of thought, you're going to attract that kind of energy to you. But if you're in a positive frame of thought, you're going to attract that energy to you. But equally, you can absorb negativity from other people and vice versa. And so by looking deeper into it, when I came across clothing, and yes, there's all these designer manufacturers, Balenciaga, Guess, Boss, you name it. They're all charging you for the privilege of wearing their name, but their products are synthetically made and manufactured in factories in China, and then you charge an extortionate amount. Looked into the world of how is clothing aligned from a frequency standpoint, and I looked at linen, did some research, and going back to 100 plus years, back to the First World War, the Crimean War, and just reading how patients were treated, badly wounded patients, is that they were wrapped in linen. Nothing but linen. Mm-hmm. No synthetic fibers, no man-made fibers, or maybe cotton, but linen has a really high frequency, natural frequency. I think it's about 5,000 hertz, which when wrapped around your body, it elevates the healing process. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. So I looked at other natural products. Cotton has 100 hertz. Bamboo is similar to cotton, 100 hertz. Then you got hemp, then you got wool, then you got silk, all natural products that have a high natural frequency that are in balance with your body. But what you can't do is you cannot wear linen and cotton because they cancel each other out. You have to be specifically minded in terms of, right, if I'm going to wear linen, I'm not going to have it wearing with anything else. And then when you compare it to, say, the synthetic fibers like nylon and polyester, what surprised me was that these synthetic fibers have the frequency equivalent to that of a dead human body, 11 hertz. So when you wear...
Shit.
Yes. So when you wear those, your Adidas tops, your Nike tops, your Reebok, whatever sportswear or trainers, it's actually sapping your natural energy out of you. It's bringing your energy down. Hence the reason when you take them off, you get a lot of static and stuff like that. Now, people will say, yeah, you're talking hogwash. But again, do your research. That's how I got to where I am, by questioning everything and informing my own opinion rather than being led by peer-reviewed science, which is they pay you a lot of money. We want you to deliver what we want you to deliver, rather than saying, give us your honest opinion in terms of what is true and what is not. And on that basis, and understanding that what you wear has an impact on you, is where the whole idea of, okay, well, I want to take this into a clothing brand because we're far too plastic, we're far too fake, and it's all kind of look at me led. And mine is not about that. Zen Ninja is in my opinion, it's a movement. It's a movement to educate people out there that there is clothing out there that is beneficial to you, particularly for children who suffer from, rashes or reactions to anything kind of allergic. Put them in cotton wool, put them in linen, put them in bamboo, and see their body recover a lot quicker. So there's so many kind of positive aspects of using natural fibers that seem to be kind of dismissed with or forgotten about. And I think it's important for people to realize that our grandparents, our parents, and our great-grandparents were doing exactly that. They were using natural fiber products before synthetic products became into it because of the costs, etc. Sadly, the cost of organic cotton and organic linen is being artificially inflated, but it's not without reach. It is still within reach, and the whole kind of aspect is that we work with companies that have an ethical approach to manufacturing clothes. It's not about sustainability. That's just a corporate load of bullshit, in my opinion. Along with climate change. Yes, there will be people out there who will go with the science, and I go with just what my natural instinct tells me, that carbon is a gas of life. Without it, we'd all be dead.
Just stop there for a second, actually, because what's been... I know this, and podcasts are great because we can have these conversations.
Yeah.
The whole carbon zero. I was genuinely, at first, I was like, yeah, let's go carbon zero. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, hang on a minute.
It's a
When I
toxic.
breathe out, I'm putting carbon out.
Yes.
I went, so how can we go carbon zero if I'm breathing
Yeah.
out carbon dioxide? I went, that's just silly.
Well, it's all about the balance, isn't it? We breathe out CO2, the trees and the foliage breathes out O2.
Do you
Natural
not
balance.
think, and you know, it's funny because they're talking about carbon zero and they have for years, but do you not think it would have been better not to cut down the trees in the rainforest
Yes.
than actually saying, no, we can't. Do you know what? You hit me there. I got triggered and I was like, we need to discuss that. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go back because
We can come back to it. We can come back to it.
everything that you talk about is, and it's funny because we talk about journeys of how we go through it, and there's something I did want to mention actually. You look fantastic for 56, by the way.
Thank you.
You
I'll
absolutely look, and your camera zoomed in when we. I don't know if your camera listened to that, but it zoomed
yeah.
right in to go, "Hello, 56. We're looking fantastic." So if that's
Oh.
because of your clothing, I might have to purchase.
Well, I think clothing attributes to it, but like I said, it's all about the diet. It's all about what you put in is what you get out of it. But I suppose it's also we were bewelled by our parents. My mother had fantastic skin before she passed, and it's all about what you eat. And I've changed from margarine doesn't exist in our house. No seed oils, nothing.
Yeah,
We use natural fats.
there's so much into the seed oils. I
Yeah,
was genuinely, and you mentioned castor oil
yeah.
as well as a kid growing up. And wasn't castor oil, is that the original castor oil that was natural or the actual castor oil that was a synthetic? They actually said, oh, it's good for you. And then they started giving it to cars because they realized there was no nutritional value. And they
Castrol
went, actually,
GTX.
it's good for
Um,
cars.
no, this was the natural stuff, and it was vile tasting.
It
Even
was
just thinking
disgusting.
about it, I can taste it right now. Just a spoonful, but then within literally a few minutes, your body would be reacting in one or two ways to sort of eradicate or just remove that's foreign in your body. And again, all the research in terms of looking at the food, looking at the medicine, looking at the clothes, it's all kind of come together in terms of that everything in that is in balance, that is good for you, is natural, but it's been demonized or it's been dismissed. And I think there's a massive movement now, and more people are kind of sort of come to our way of thinking that we need to change our way of life in terms of stop eating processed rubbish or minimize it to a degree. Change our alcoholic intake. I drink alcohol. It's coming up to the weekend, and I'm out with my long-term friends who I haven't seen for a while, out for a few beers in Leicester this evening, and then I'm out in Birmingham again tomorrow evening. But that's just it. It's Friday to Saturday, and then after that, it's back into the gym 5 days a week and fasting whenever I can, every other day, and eating once a day. I don't have breakfast. I don't have cereals. I just eat once a day,
Yeah,
and make
that's
sure I take salt and water.
yeah. I don't look like I live that lifestyle because I always go through stages of for 2 months I'll eat once a day. I love fasting,
Yeah.
and then your body just start. Well, for me, my body just starts going, oh, for God's sake, have some toast and jam. And I don't eat gluten anymore. I actually thought I had a gluten intolerance because I'd been struggling with something
Yeah.
for a while, and then it found out after about 4 years or 2 years I stopped gluten. And then my wife was like, "Oh, you can have gluten now." And then I was like, "Do you know what? I don't think I want to go back to it just because my diet was cake and biscuits and pies."
I think it's more a case of what they put into the cake, biscuits, and pies. It's going to be palm oil. It's going to be malted dextrin, which is not good for you.
It's
Anyway,
not good.
not good. And palm oil, seed oil, they're replacing dairy products with fake products. So
And you're
any
right
cake,
about the margarine. The margarine was it not classed as plastic?
it's
It's actually a
it's
liquid plastic.
it's one element away from plastic.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, it went straight out the door for us for a few years back, and I had upheaval, I had resistance. No, you can't be doing this. We like margarine; it spreads easily on the bread. And I said, no, it's not happening. I said, if you want butter, just take it out, let it get to room temperature, and you can easily spread it.
Yeah.
Um, and there are certain things, if I hadn't imposed my will on the family, they would have carried on as normal. And even going back
So
to
you make a really good point that you went on that journey. And it's great that people go on the journey. I love that journey. And we're not even talking about the brand yet. I know we've lightly touched on it because there's so much more to deep dive. Since you've made those changes, the changes that you felt needed to happen for you,
yeah,
apart from the fact that you're 56 and you look absolutely fantastic.
so do you, mate.
I'm 48. Well, no, I keep saying I'm 48. I'm 49. So I'm 49, and I look average, to be fair. I have always said I've got a face for radio, but we're doing a live podcast. However, what changes have you seen within yourself that you're like, wow, I'm so glad I made that change?
I think the first thing is clarity of mind,
Mm,
is really seeing the world with a truer vision, um, seeing the world for what it is, as opposed to having the veil of the matrix on you, where you're just conditioned by sitting at home watching TV, daytime soaps or whatever soaps. Um, all the rubbish that just saps the life out of you. Everything that you watch on television nowadays, it's negative. Soaps are negative. We're getting coming up to a celebration period of festivity, Christmas, etc., and all the soaps are going to be about murdering and this and that, and that's not raising your vibration. That's not celebrating anything. I don't think. And for me, I think the whole thing about the festive Christmas thing is being consumerized. It should be about family spending time together and not going out there breaking the bank to buy presents and to keeping up with the Joneses or try and buy the kids the best presents. It's about spending time together, enjoying the
I
bit
totally
you want.
agree with that. Me and
Yeah.
my wife love Christmas because we spend a lot of time together. It's absolutely fantastic. So and it's funny because when you talked about, linen and the healing properties and cotton and the healing properties, and I know you know the answer to this, which is why this is going to be an absolute bang on question for you. So
Yeah.
if you can understand the vibrancy and the frequency and the healing power of linen, of cotton, of wool. Can I ask you, what are the fabrics in hospitals?
They're synthetic. They don't use the hence the reason why, hospitals back in the days, I think if you go back to the way I can align to it is watching the Carry On Doctor movies, and you look at the hospitals how they had a structure and a hierarchy, and you can see that they're actually using more cotton or hemp, linen-based bandages. You fast forward to say the 80s, 90s, and where we are now. It's all about synthetic products that wrap around your body that don't allow your body to breathe or air and naturally heal, and pumping you full of drugs as opposed to sort of looking at what the condition is and seeing what they can do. And plus, hospital food doesn't really help, does it either? So you might as well go and have a dirty kebab instead, as opposed to hospital dinner. Um, but if you look at other areas where they have alternative medication and other hospitals around the world, they do apply some more, naturopathic remedies, which are designed to get you out better, quicker, and out of the hospital quicker, as opposed to just saying, we're going to pump you full of drugs and just see how it goes. But yeah, hospitals are a little bit, I think they're going backwards as opposed to forwards. Yes, there are technologies out there that are based on frequency and resonance and vibration that do heal, but these technologies have been suppressed, like Rift technologies, Rife machines, which the Professor Rife worked out that there is a frequency for every ailment in the body, and you pinpoint that frequency, and it'll effectively reverse whatever symptoms you've got.
And that, just for a second, that is absolutely bang on. And the whole thing about resonancy in the hospitals, it's look, I know we talked about the Matrix and those things, and I think that those conversations, I'm sure, I just feel that people are starting to go, hang on a minute, what bullshit have we been told? And all the bullshit that we thought was bullshit is like, oh my God, that's actually true. Because like you said, you've done your research,
Yeah.
you've gone through things, and you're like, this is not bullshit. The lies that we've been told for years are the lies. And you're absolutely right. When somebody pays for a peer review, but you know you're actually paid to get that result so they can start. It's
Yeah.
just, well, life's not fair. I get that. And the podcast is not about being unfair. The podcast is how to raise your vibration. And I think now we've heard that fabulous journey. Now let's start talking about Zen Ninja, the t-shirts, the frequency, the yin and the yang, the energy, and how, because I'm super keen. Genuine, I love the product. I love the product. In fact, I'll say it live on the podcast, Dean. If you want to sponsor the mind management mentors, I will put your logo and the brand, because it's about resonance. It's 100% about resonance. And I've had a few businesses come and say, "Oh, we want to sponsor the podcast," and I'm like, I just don't think it's right. But this one, I kept thinking, oh, I hope he comes on board, because there's something we can definitely do, because I love the product.
Well,
So tell me everything we need to know about Zen Ninja, the frequency, and the clothing, because it's super exciting for you.
well, I'm happy to sort of expand on that. So, Zen Ninja, when I first kind of put the idea towards the family, it was after 2 years of secretly in the background doing all the research and doing some development, having a go online to see, just to test the waters, etc., failing in some cases. But that just kind of drove me on to saying, okay, right, I need to step back, understand what's gone wrong, and then regroup and then relaunch. So it's been kind of an up and down journey, but I think failure is a pathway to success. That's the way I see it. And if you can acknowledge that, then you're halfway there. And to me, I didn't tell my wife, didn't tell the kids, nothing. I just kept it underground until I was in a position to where I think, right, okay, I've got it right. I've got the trademark registered, the company set up. The website is a work in progress at the moment, hoping to have it all completed before the end of this year. And obviously the range of products. So we had a soft launch in July where close family and friends came, barbecue, about 60 odd people, laid on food and beers, as you do, and burgers. And it was a resounding success, because I didn't think that the family would be as supportive, but with all the pictures and the videos that were shot, which we'll probably use in a raw format, because I'm not about having a polished image. It's about having a natural, raw family approach to it, showing people wearing the t-shirts like this one, the joggers, the hoodies, but there's going to be a range of linen clothes, especially for children, but also women as well, because they've expressed a massive interest in what we're trying to do. And when I announced Zen Ninja, the name, the boys would say Zen Ninja. It sounds as though it's violent, and I had to explain it to him. I said, hold on a minute, look at it from my standpoint. I understand where you're coming from, but to me, Zen, it's about embodying stillness, awareness, and the breath before the action. And then this is where the ninja comes in, representing the power of action, precision, and presence in movement. And hence the reason why you've not got a ninja with swords flying around on the logo. It's a ninja in a meditative state that's elevated, or what do they call it? Not elevated. What's the word I'm looking for?
Raised
Or hovering. Well, we'll come to it, but levitating, that's it. Levitating,
yes.
That's the word I'm looking for. In a peaceful state.
Yeah.
And then behind it, you've got the flower of life design, which is intrinsic in everything, like the Fibonacci sequence as well, the golden ratio. You look at life, you look at the designs of life, we imitate that. every design follows that forward. And in fact, I think the image behind you is a little bit like the golden ratio Fibonacci kind of spiral type thing, kind of a little bit like it.
But the
And then,
circle of life, which is the image,
yeah,
that's because I watched. It was Terrence Howard that was talking about it actually,
yeah,
and I started following Terrence Howard. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Terrence Howard is a wackadoodle. He's out there."
he's not.
He's not. I mean,
No,
he genuinely is not. And when he was talking about 1+1 is not two, and I was like, "Oh my God." I was
yeah.
just blown away, and I started sharing it to my friends like, "Oh, could you stop it?" I'm like, "Oh no, there's something to it." But how much can you share about the flower of life? Because that's one of the earliest geometric shapes, or it's literally at the core of life itself, isn't it?
Yes. So the flower of life. I mean, I've seen lots of people with the flower of life design
Yeah.
on as a tattoo, and I've asked them. And says that's intriguing. What is that? They said, "Oh, it's a tattoo. I just like the design of it." Okay, without understanding what the true meaning behind it is, and many people don't understand what the flower of life is. I had to look into it. I thought, okay, yeah, I like the design, but there has to be some reasoning behind it, and I've seen it in science books, physics books. And thinking, okay, so there's an intrinsical link between the flower of life design and how it breaks into science as well, how it's alignment science. Um, and as I said, it's all about the underlying code that's within nature, that's shared across plant life, animal life, sea life, even in the rocks, etc. It's embedded in every aspect of nature, um, and it creates the foundation for the seeds of life. I don't know whether you've heard of the Metatron's cube. I'm looking into that, which is a
Ooh, that's a
fascinating
new one.
subject.
Metatron Cube.
Metatron's cube, yeah.
Tell me
Uh,
about that.
that I'm still doing my research on that. Like I said, my path into understanding the core meaning of the flower of life, the Fibonacci sequence, the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's natural frequency.
We
That's
talked about that, and
yeah,
that's something I started doing after I saw something on YouTube about, whenever you go to a new country, if you want to get over jet lag quickly, and I
yeah,
went to Australia and did it, and I thought, right, I'm going to do it, and it did work.
yeah,
But the second you get off a plane, take your shoes off and walk on grass,
yeah.
walk on the earth, because you will ground yourself in that time of where you are. And I was like, oh my God. And I do that everywhere I go now.
Well, I think they should have a grass walk pathway for people coming off planes.
That can you imagine that? Zen Ninja grass pathways
Yeah.
all over. You've got a marketing. Oh my. If we just create the best marketing plan for D, how much would a soil of grass just for a walkway for about 8 meters?
Yeah. Well, the ideas are coming thick and fast at the moment, but no, you're perfectly right in terms of that grounding is important, but people tend to forget the fact that we're living such busy 9 to 5 lives. We're in that kind of rat wheel spinning. We wake up, we have breakfast. If we don't, we get in the car, we go to work, we come back, we eat, we have a few hours, we go to sleep and repeat, and then we get the weekend to kind of unwind. Um, and it's that kind of cycle that I'm personally looking to break myself in terms of becoming self-sufficient without having to rely on having to do a 9 to 5 that most of us are trapped into. And Zen Ninja is my platform, my gateway to sort of achieving that, but also equally bringing people into the awareness that there's more to life than just designer stuff. There's natural products out there, and our clothing is very simple. It's not made to be designer. It's made to be in tune with your body. It's as simple as that. That's the message.
Mm.
Yeah.
And is that not the ultimate? Is that not the ultimate swag? Instead of wearing Balenciaga, I don't really understand the brand Balenciaga to be fair, but instead of wearing Nike, Just Do It, or Under Armour,
Yeah.
I Can, I Will, I Do. I always did like Under Armour to be fair.
Yeah.
But is that not the ultimate swag, using your own vibrancy and healing powers as this is what I meant? I mean that as I think I'm creating your marketing program for as we're going through this.
You are indeed. And what I tend to say when I send messages to people, I'll say, I'll finish off saying thanks very much, and I'll say, raise your vibration. Where's Zen Ninja? And that's part of the motto in terms of the marketing initiatives that you're going to start seeing. The bursts of publicity across the social media platforms, because that's going to be the bedrock. It's not going to be a case of having a marketing engine doing it all. It's going to be through word of mouth. It's going to be through the website. It's going to be through social media, having people wear it, talk about it, doing fantastic podcasts like this that are I can see are going to elevate the name Zen Ninja and the movement of Zen Ninja.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a clothing brand for the people, of the people, by the people. That's the way I look at it. And ultimately, it's a case about also giving back. So the whole ethos behind the company is that we're not using slave labor for manufacturing. The manufacturing is done here in the UK. The materials are all organic, but where the material comes from, once the company starts turning over some profits, we'll be profit sharing and giving back something to the people who actually manufacture the organic cotton or linen or whichever material we tend to use. And that was one of the reasons, as I mentioned before we became live, we were in Indonesia, fantastic country, and we went to Bali. The people there are wonderful. If you haven't been, I absolutely recommend it. They're so genuine, so polite, so helpful. They can't do enough. They made our stay really, really beautiful. But it was also a fact-finding mission in terms of finding ethical manufacturers of linen and cotton products, got certified, that we could use. And we had some really informative and enlightening discussions, because the quality of the material there was comparable to buying it in the UK or buying it in Europe. But the cost associated is not inflated. You get the quality, but at a far more competitive price. And that kind of made us think, is that can we extend further afield and work with companies further afield that are going to benefit from our business, but also benefit from the exposure that our brand is going to give in terms of uplifting the brand by using their materials and co-marketing with them as well, saying, look, we're using this company. We wholeheartedly recommend them.
I love it. I've got an idea. I've got questions. Now,
Yeah.
So now this is only a question from my perspective. I don't like a big fashion thing at the moment is white, beige, grey, charcoal, and black.
Yeah.
And it bores me shitless. I am pink and neons whenever I can. So before I heavily invest, do you have pink and neons, or does the color and the dyes that you use to create those? How does that work? Because it's all about vibrancy and raising your frequency. So how's that? And this is a technical question that you don't have to answer, but how does that process work so I can still get neon or pink colors from you?
Well, I like my pinks as well. I like my pastel pinks, etc. I'm not too sure about the neon as such,
Right.
But I do know people who've got the same kind of fashion sense like yourselves, where they do like to wear, say, pink chinos and a green top or something like that. A very close friend of mine kind of tends to do that. But we're not just planning to go with the norm. Yes, standardized white t-shirts, because people will buy it either because they like it or that they understand the philosophy behind it and they want to buy it. Or there may be somebody that don't get it at all and just buy it anyway.
Yeah.
And the color ranges, I've spoken with my wife, I've spoken with the kids just to sort of get their flavor for it and what the vibe is with the youngsters, because you don't want to get product out there that doesn't sing to everybody. And they say, well, we'd like to see brighter colors, particularly for the summertime. So when it comes to the winter, it's all about the beiges and the grays and the blacks and all
Well,
that.
what a horrible color for the winter when it's dark.
Yeah. But we're bringing in I suppose, a kaleidoscope of colors that will be available to customers. And there will also be the ability to customize your products. So you can have a 3-word saying of your own choosing, but the algorithm will not allow you to be any profanities like, eat shit and die or anything like that. It's all about positivity. So raise your vibration, or be positive, think positive, become positive, things like that. That enables you to make it your own unique top,
Yeah.
or your dress. So there's lots of designs that I and my wife are working on. We're sampling them, we're checking them through, and then you'll start seeing them being put on as limited collections onto the website available. So yeah, it's an exciting time, and color is very much part of it. And as you can see in the logo behind me, it's the 7 colors of the chakra.
And the chakras are so important for people. And I know people don't understand it, but do you know what? This is a great conversation. This is going to be a long podcast. I just know that when we're talking about the same things, and I'm like, oh, we need to share this. Acupuncture.
Yeah.
Oh, it was always a little bit for me, and I was like, do you know what? When I had it done, and the alignment and the energy of our electric force and chi, and I felt it when there was like, I think I'd got something wrong with my kidneys, and she put something in my big toe, and it
Yeah.
wasn't pain when the needle, because it's like a hair. It's not even like a needle. It's like a hair going in. And I felt it in my kidney. I'm like, whoa! She went, no, you see your blocks down here. You got to understand chi. The energy alignment through ourselves is it's from here to here, and the points are all blocked. And I'm like, this is frequency, this is vibrancy, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God! And it's funny because these things you go on something when you're open and ready to receive, it's like the Buddha. Not everybody wants to listen to the Buddha, but I think the old saying for the Buddha is once the lily is open, you're ready to receive. And
Yeah.
that's it. Once we're open, and this is just, I love it. Dean, I love it. I
Well,
love it.
and you mentioned that. I mean, it's all to do with your nervous system, which is the framework. So when they put in that needle, it's hitting a specific nerve ending that's connected to that specific organ or part of your body. When you look at the soles of your feet, each area has a significant part linked to specific parts of your organ, and you can get insoles that actually massage those specific parts. So there's lots of things, and there's now companies out there that are doing grounding shoes that keep you grounded. Because when you look
I
at your
bought a
current
pair.
shoes, yeah, your current your
I've got my
trainers.
copper on as well. I always have
What?
my copper band on.
I've
Yeah, I've
got
got my
my
copper
copper.
band on.
And I've got my black obsidian crystal that we picked up from Bali. Um, everything that has been derided is now coming back into not vogue, but people are taking more consideration about their health. And I always used to wonder why my mother used to wear a copper bracelet, and I thought it was about arthritis, but no, it does a lot more.
Copper used to be in all the pipes. It was in the water. So
Yeah,
we had these positive chemicals coming in. None of this plastic. Again,
yeah,
going back to synthetic and plastics, well, plastic lasts longer. The
yeah.
copper pipes had this natural energy coming into us through our water. It's just
I've got my
it's
copper bottle.
frustrating.
Yeah, we drink from copper bottles. We have filtered water coming into the system. I can't drink tap water. I can smell the chlorine. It
Yeah,
makes me gag. Makes me gag. So we tend to drink whenever we go out bottled still water in glass bottles, not plastic bottles. It's not about snobbery. It's about just knowing that you don't want to take anything rubbish in.
you just remind me. I might need to get some copper
And
glasses.
the whole kind of frequency, vibration, resonance, magnetism, energy thing it has so much impact across so many aspects of our lives. Now, when you do start to see it the way you and I see things, you make the necessary changes, and it does have a positive impact on your life. I mean, health wise, you sleep better, you feel much more energized, and you see the world with a lot more clarity, but also serenity as well. I'm no longer stressed by things. I don't get easily wound up. It takes a lot to get me wound up.
Me too. I totally remember we talked about
Yeah,
before we
yeah,
went
yeah,
into the podcast, and I'm
yeah,
like, my wife says I'm far too calm,
yeah,
but I do let that build up, and then when I explode,
yeah.
it's probably to the detriment because I've been able to just let it water off a duck's back. But I suppose internal, I know you're right, and we are the yin and the yang. This has been amazing, Dean, and I'm conscious of time for yourself.
I'm good with time if you are.
Because we can,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why. Because I've got something going on in the background. I'm like, oh, we need to have a chat because it was talking about the chakras,
Yeah.
and I've got a video course that's like about 8 hours long, and it goes and deep dives about chakras, the root chakra, the crown chakra, and it's a meditation course. It's a meditation and breathwork course, and I'm like, there's something that me and you can do to get this out in the world that they've got. You become a meditation breathwork teacher, Zen ninja. So that's the reason I want to, because I'm coming to the end. And I'm like, Dean, we need to have a chat. We just need to have a chat. We said it before. We just meet the right people at the right time. We genuinely do. And
One
this,
hundred percent. One hundred
oh,
percent.
we have to thank Steve Simeone for this.
Well, Steve is a family member through my wife's elder sister's marriage. I think
Right.
he's a yeah, but yeah, he's a great guy. He was here at the Zen Ninja launch as well. He had a great time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was definitely he's just as enthusiastic as you. That's hence the reason
Oh,
why our paths crossed. But I'm grateful and I'm honored that you've given me this opportunity, Cuddy. And like I said, drop me your details and I'll get you some
do they
merch.
fit big
Well,
or are they
I'm
tight fitting?
they're kind of well, let me show you one.
Let's do it. Because I am a 2XL, but sometimes a 3XL, depending on the clothing.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got a question. When you come back, I've got a question because there's one of them I don't know what that is.
Yeah. All right, so that's a medium.
Oh, I'm definitely not a medium.
No, but the medium fits me and I'm 6'4".
Yeah, but I'm wide.
Pretty wide.
I'm a big boy.
Big boy. Okay, that's a medium, but I've also got a large and an XL and an XXL.
It'll have to be double X for me.
Okay, no worries.
Double X pink.
Double X pink.
It's
Well,
got to be double X pink.
it's going to have to be navy on this occasion. But,
Oh, right, okay.
but we will look at doing collections where it's vibrant colours that you can choose for yourself. But,
Brilliant. So I have one question. What's mudra?
Mudra, how can I say it's you can position your fingers like this, and you're focusing your energy, or you can do this. You know, where people do this, or this. They have several meanings, and just like with chakras, with mudras, with yin and yang, they're all going to be forming part of collections for Zen Ninja. And I don't know if you can see, wrong way, he says, but there, it's incorporating all that.
Yeah, that's what I saw mudra, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is.
So mudra are hand gestures, but they have an impact on your body. It's not just about, and you can see it if you watch Donald Trump. Yes, I know you either like him or hate him, but watch his hands. And when he sits there, he'll sit there with certain hands like this or like that. They're all mudras, and they have a specific meaning, and they have a specific reaction. So yeah, so when you're sitting there, if you're fiddling with your hands and you want to just have this pose or have that pose, that's empowerment. But it means it has several meanings. Just look it up and you'll be bamboozled.
Oh, but also I love it. Dean, thank you.
Cuddy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
It's absolutely been a pleasure. I love it. I love everything that's a part of it. And thank you so much for coming and talking about it on the Mind Management Mentors podcast. Is there anything else you want to share with the world before we wrap up?
Yes, look out for announcements on TikTok, on Insta, and any other social media. The website is www.zen-ninja.co.uk. It will be live in the next few weeks. So come and take a look. There's something for everyone on that.
Can't wait. I absolutely love it. Thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in to this one. It's a fascinating podcast about how we can raise our frequency and raise our vibration just purely by clothes. And I'm a big believer in if it's in the mind, it can be managed, and there's anything we can do to help elevate ourselves, then we do it. And clothing never even popped into my mind. Never even popped into my mind. I can't believe it. I'm absolutely shocked and astounded by that, especially the frequency of polyester, or the frequency of was it polyester?
Polyester, nylon, anything synthetic.
Zero. So you're practically wearing death. I was like, oh my God, that sends chills. I'm actually going to look at what my t-shirt is, to be fair. But thank you so much for being on, Dean. It's been an absolute pleasure. Remember, if it's in the mind, it can be managed. Like and subscribe, tune in, and go and check out some of our other podcasts on the Mind Management Mentors podcasts, because we are here to help you manage your minds, your leadership, your workplace wellness, and helping coaches level up in their businesses. It's what we do. Big love from Cuddy, and we'll see you on the next episode of If It's in the
Be
Mind.
well, everybody.
I love it.